Hi, I'm Jill Ozier, founder and CEO of Teneral Cellars, a certified women-owned and run wine company that is reshaping the industry to reflect its largest customer. Did you know there's only 10% female winemakers and 0.1% black winemakers, men and women? That female sommeliers are still making 70 cents on the dollar to their male counterparts? And yes, while there are women in tasting rooms, when you look at the industry as a whole, there are very few women in leadership positions and even fewer women of color. Yet almost 70% of all wine is purchased by women, and the industry does not reflect its largest customer. There are some great success stories out there, but there is nothing close to having representation on the shelves. And Teneral Cellars is here to disrupt that. We launched in 2020. I was an owner of a major wine group in El Dorado County, but I was leaving the best part of myself at the door on most days. And as I was stuck at home like most of us after the beginning of COVID, I started asking myself, what was I doing as a leader in the wine industry to be part of the solutions that I wanted to see? Because this was also following the murders of Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd. And there weren't very many wine companies taking a stance for humanity to represent all of its customers. So I started looking at my own industry when I found out that data that I just shared with you. I know I was put on this earth to make a difference and to use my voice. I was a collegiate athlete at the University of California at Berkeley. I was a catcher, go Bears. So using my voice was part of what it meant to be successful in my position. I had grown up being on the front line of many racial and social justice fights, so using my voice came naturally to me. Yet I found myself being very tamed in an industry that is steeped in tradition and dominated by men, and that's just a fact. So I had to look at myself within and say, what was I going to do? And so I launched Teneral Cellars to be the solution that I wanted to see. I know how wine connects people. So I wanted to harness the power of business for good and use wine as a conduit for change. So I created Teneral Cellars. The dragonfly represents the transformation I want to see, and the word teneral. Teneral is when a dragonfly comes out of its cast. It's in its most vulnerable state. Its wings are colorless and it can't fly. Yet within a few days, it gets its full colors, spreads its wings, and takes off with amazing power and grace, or grit and grace. And that represents all women. We all have that power within us. We just have to claim it. And why not use wine as a conduit for change, since most of the greatest conversations, there's wine on the table. So we sustainably farm and produce award-winning wines. We donate 10% of our profits back to charities that empower women and fight for gender and racial justice. In our first full year in 2021, we broke the $1 million mark, and we donated $51,000 to organizations like the National Women's Law Center, the Stonewall Inga's Back Initiative, the World Central Kitchen, Endometriosis Foundation of America, Generation W, and lots of other smaller organizations. This year, we're partnering with the Women of the Vine and Spirits Foundation so that we can support scholarships for women to get into the wine industry, or if they're already in the wine industry, to actually get further professional development to move up the ladder. We have two kinds of products. We have wholesale, which have this label on it. And then for our wine club, which is recurring revenue for us, every quarter we do different themes around women's empowerment, so that when you open the box, we educate you, we give you conversation starters, we even give you tangible actions to take to be part of the change that you want to see. So when we open a bottle, we open a conversation. I am surrounded by an amazing advisory board, a beautifully diverse advisory board that cover all aspects of the industry, including marketing, finance, sales, all of it. I also am supported by many sisters in the Women Presidents Organization that have helped me get off the ground and advise me on a daily basis. But there's so much more we can do. And when we change the wine industry to reflect its largest customer, we're also creating the best practice to change other industries. Let's open a bottle. Let's open a conversation. I'd love your support, because when we do this right, we're changing the world for everyone.